Good evening, everyone. At the outset, I would like to congratulate Marsha Gladstone and the Jesner family, together with JLGB, for everything that goes into the planning and the implementation of the Yoni Jesner Awards. And I would also like to congratulate the many recipients who are receiving their awards here this evening. Every year I leave this event feeling so inspired through the amazing details and stories that we hear here about volunteering and the deep impact that you are making on the lives of so many. This evening, I would briefly like to speak to our recipients about the theme of time. And I will do this with reference to three teachings of our sages in Pirkei Avot, the Ethics of the Fathers, relating to time. The first is, Yesh koneh olamo b'sha'a achat. It is possible for a person to achieve immortality in just 1 hour. That is to say, through doing just one exceptionally good deed, it can make your entire life worth living. And if that is the case with regard to 1 hour and one deed, how much more so is it the case to numerous hours and thousands of deeds, which you are doing, which so many others are doing, in order to enhance life in our world. But in order to achieve this, one needs to know how to prioritize what's important and what's not so important. What are those things in life through which we can make that very deep impact? The professor of philosophy once stood in front of his university students, and on the table he placed a huge glass jar. And then he took out a bag of rocks, and he said to his students, "I'm going to fill the jar with rocks." He took many rocks, placed them in the jar until they came right to the top, and then he said to the students, "So is the jar now full?" And they said, "Yes, it's full." He said, "No, it's not." Then he took out a bag of pebbles, and he poured the pebbles into the jar, and they went through all the cracks and the gaps between the various rocks, and then the pebbles came all the way to the top. And he said to his students, "So now is the jar full?" And they said, "Oh, yes." And he said, "No, not." He then took out a bag of sand, and he poured the sand, and it came through all the gaps between the pebbles and the rocks until the sand came to the top. And he said, "So is the jar now full?" And they said, "Absolutely, now you've done it." He said, "No." He then took out a jug of water, and he poured the water into that jar, and it came all the way to the top. And then he said to them, "The rocks represent all that which is really important in life. The pebbles, those things which are important but not essential. The sand, things that you can really do without. And the water really just gets in the way. If you start by first putting into the jar the sand or the pebbles or the water, you will have no space within which to put your rocks." And that's the message that I'd like to give to you, the recipients, this evening. Identify in life what your rocks are, what is really important. And you've already done this through knowing that by giving of ourselves to others, that surely is why God placed us here on earth. And build the rest of your lives around that. Add your pebbles and your sand and your water in a way through which you can guarantee that you will fill your life with everything that is genuinely important. The second lesson from Pirkei Avot is, Ein lecha adam she'ein lo sha'ah. There is no person on earth who doesn't have his or her hour. In English, we have this saying, every dog has its day. Please remember not to despise other people while being proud of your own achievements. Don't try to push others down. Respect others. Often you will find that the people that you think aren't really the greatest probably are far better than you are. Please remember that even a broken clock tells the right time twice a day. There is nobody who is absolutely useless in this world, and everybody should deserve your respect and your consideration. And the final teaching from Pirkei Avot is, Im lo achshav eimatai. If not now, then when? Don't put off opportunities to do good. Do them now, because who knows what the future might hold. The saintly Chofetz Chaim was once writing a postcard, and when he finished the postcard, he ran into the Beit Midrash in his yeshiva, and he said to the students, I just learned something amazing from the way in which I wrote the postcard. He said, I had so much to say, and I started writing the postcard in big characters, and then halfway through, I realized there's so much more that I need to tell my friend that I'm sending the postcard to. So then he started to write with small words and letters. And then at the very bottom, he could see that the last 3 lines were tiny, tiny letters. And eventually there was hardly any space for him to put his signature at the end. So too in life, he told his students, when you've got the chance to do a lot, do it. Don't waste your time thinking, well, I'm going to have a long life, things are going to be really easy and good. Because then you'll find out halfway through life, gosh, there's so much that I need to do and I haven't yet done it. And then eventually you'll realize, wow, there's so much more that I should really have achieved, but now there's hardly any time. Yoni Jesner, Zichrono Livracha, was a person who believed in doing things now and not putting them off. And that's why within his relatively short life, he achieved so much. And that's exactly what all of you have been doing through your volunteering. You haven't put it off to a later time when you leave school, university, go to work. You've said, let's do it now. Even though you've got your studies, you've got your activities, you've said, if not now, then when? And also through volunteering, I hope that you've realized what the true rocks of your life are, what's really important. And please also never forget that while you're succeeding, enable others to succeed. Be happy through their achievements, be a champion of what they are doing, and don't despise them. So congratulations, recipients, on what you have done. I'd like to thank you for the inspiration you're giving me and all of our community. And you certainly are enabling Yoni's legacy to be alive through everything that you are doing. Thank you for what you're doing, and please commit yourselves through the rest of your lives to volunteering, doing chesed, and good deeds for others. Thank you very much.